If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
But I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey, welcome back to The Blend. Next is the showcase, where we take a look at the world of dance team known as the Royal Family.
So I'm Nick Martinez, and this is
Abby Adams.
And I like to dance, and this is one of my dance shirts from high school. And today I will be showcasing one of my favorite dance teams in the world.
I don't know anything about them, so I'm excited to learn.
Perfect. So we're going to start with this first video. So the dance team that I like to show off is the Royal Family. And here we go.
Don't act like you forgot. I called a shot. Like blah, blah, blah.
Already you can like see
Y'all
like,
should know me well
the
enough.
perfectionists that they are. Like every little beat.
Y'all should know me well enough. Better have my money. Please don't call me on my blood. Pay me what you
So this lady in the front, her name is actually Paris Vogel. And she is the choreographer and the head of the dance team. She founded the dance team in 2011, and she has worked with many famous celebrities like Sierra, Justin Bieber, J-Lo, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Blackpink. She's really famous, like no matter where you go. Look at this part.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh. She's like that girl in Spy Kids. She uses her hair as a propeller. She's so angry. Okay.
Their facials and like the hip hop they do. Like the part that they're so loose, but they're so like slow at the same time. It's like amazing.
I know, like, got that stanky face on.
So these girls, I know for sure, are like some like original members, and they're always into dance. It's like part of her actual show. I actually like this type of dance. It's called Wacky. And it's like combination with that. It's like that. It's like more supervision, more like. They're about to be their hands. Look at their hands right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Their legs look so strong. They're just like full of fun. They're all insane. I want to say weeks.
Because I'm like, there's so many
I know
different
she has
dances.
really like intense dance practices.
I believe it.
And so I know she like works them out for like a whole day straight, and they're all like they learn to dance, and then one day, and then the next day they're practicing it.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my game
So you
down,
can see
flip
the
it and
dance
reverse
is all
it.
girls,
It's
they're all
your
boys.
primitive, it's why I
So like at some point it's all girls, some points it's all guys,
if you
but
got a
it is
big, let me search it to find out how hard I gotta work. Yeah, it's your primitive, it's why I
It's just like
And
aesthetically
so, yeah, so
pleasing
they all
at the
end off
end.
with like the crown because you know the royal family. All right, so that's the second video, and we have this one last video, where she was with J-Lo in the 2015 awards. So we actually like performed with her for this event, and yeah, Paris Goebel likes to work with a lot of artists like J-Lo, obviously. But her studio is not here in the US, it's actually in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, with that. And she actually has artists fly out to her, not her to them, because she's that person.
She's royalty.
She's royalty. So her studio is called The Palace, like I said, and it's managed by her and her father. And then, like, she's also choreographed for many movies. One of the most famous movies that she choreographed for is Step Up, All In. So she choreographed it, and she was actually in it too. She has actually won World Dance Gold 3 times from 2011 to 2013, and the following year she did not perform, and the year after she got bronze and then silver. And she's hoping to come back with gold this year.
Like televised? Is it like a
They actually have a TV show now about it, but it's not the same as competition. But yeah, they you can actually go to them. They're public. You have to pay an admission price, and they have many of them like Houston, Miami, LA, Dallas, Austin, just in all the big cities basically.
trying to be in World of Dance.
See, this is actually the same dance that they used for their 2015 performance. And J-Lo said that she actually really liked it so much that she had to use it herself. In little like segments she had in the same video. Yeah, that's my goal.
Don't act like you forgot.
Perfect game. So that is the royal family. I hope you enjoyed this video.
I did. That was dope.
Yeah, like I said, this is my favorite dance team, and I wish I could meet them. I wish I could meet Paris Goebel one day. That'd be amazing. But that's my team. Hope you liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I'm Nick Martinez, and this is
Abby Adams.
And this was Showcase.
Hey, those were some wild moves. Hey, thanks for showing us, Nick. But don't go anywhere just yet. We have more segments.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Come on. Go, Diane. Yeah, keep it going. Yeah. Go, honey.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Oh, Vanessa. You gonna text her back?
Nope. I'm high. I'm gonna hit the treadmill.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Nope. I'm high. How about they come over?
Where?
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
That's right. For incoming freshmen, we have a video for you, a crash course video on the do's and don'ts of SFA. Let's check it out.
Dude, what are you wearing? You can't wear orange at SFA.
My orange.
Oh, dude, what are you wearing?
My new SFA shirt.
Looks great. Axe or Jacks? Are you crazy? Don't you want to graduate?
Just because I step on a seal doesn't mean I don't graduate. I'm only 15 minutes late. How am I supposed to get home now? Yeah, hello, driving Jacks. I need a ride home. Yeah, I live in Steam Village. I mean Steam.
Well, it's been a great show, but that's all the time we have left.
Be sure to follow our social media. Our Twitter and Instagram are @TheCrewSFA, and you can also like our Facebook page, SFA The Crew, and check out more content on SFA TV too.
Also, if you miss any of the Blend episodes, you can see all of our episodes on YouTube at The Crew at SFA. I'm Sam Hackett.
And I'm Blake Hazard. See you guys next time.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. I'm gonna need that back. No. Kevin!
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Julia, are you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
This video was taken over a forest in Nacogdoches, Texas. The trees are so full of life and at peace. The warm light from the sunset feels like a heartfelt hug from a person that you love. Words can't always describe the beauties that this world has to offer. Some things can only be felt. How things make us feel and how we see go hand in hand. That's why I needed you to experience this with me. Those who are visually impaired experience the beauty of life, just in a different way. Not all people who are blind are completely without sight. Some people are simply colorblind. 8% of males and about 0.5% of women are colorblind to red and green. That would look something about like this. Another form of blindness involves one eye overpowering the other, causing an issue to focus. This would look something like this. Some people can only see lights and shadows. This is the case for many people who report being blind with a serious condition. They would see something more like this. The highlights would be bright, but the shadows would be too dark to recognize any details. We went to a meeting for the Cane and Braille Club here at SFA to meet a few people with these disabilities and to learn a little bit more about them as well as their lives.
My name is Josh Pace and I'm visually impaired.
I'm Will Walsh and I'm visually impaired and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Most people think you either have like 20/20 or you see nothing.
Yes, there are different levels of blindness. I am classified as being completely blind.
What does that mean?
means I cannot see anything, shapes, light.
But there's like a bunch of in between. Like for me, I can see a little bit out of my left eye. I can't see anything out of my right eye, and I have no peripheral at all. Like, you know what I mean? There's just a bunch of different combinations of vision that people have. Some people can have 20/20 in one eye, and the other eye can be significantly less. Like, it's just a bunch of, like, it's, you know what I mean? It's a lot that really kind of goes with it. Anyway, like the main thing that kind of gets me about people is that when I'm walking with my cane, mind you, I can see a little bit, right? And so I can't tell you how many times I've seen like someone try to run across in front of me, like inches in front of me before I run into them, under the impression that I can't see them do that. You know, that just kind of gets annoying. I mean, I'm not personally offended because I feel like if they fall, you know, I mean, it's not really my fault, you know? You know what I mean?
I've even just tried to ask people simple questions for help, and they've just blatantly ignored me like I've gotten crickets.
We met up with Will the following day to get a bigger picture of his story. He in particular has a very unique background and skill set. Will's a student during the day, but he's also a DJ at night. Will's DJ'd all around the United States, as well as played at some of the most prestigious venues in his hometown, Houston, Texas. Will's recently played at NRG Stadium, Revention Music Center, Spire Nightclub, the George R. Brown Convention Center, and here at Chapman and Kirby. Attendees would never know hearing him mix, but Will is a blind DJ.
Come right around my sophomore year of high school, I met Louis Grell, who's the owner of LG Event Entertainment and Production in Houston, and he basically started to teach me lessons, him and his team of DJs, and they basically taught me everything I needed to know technically as far as what buttons did what on any given mixer. They started to train me on a controller, and then soon I learned that those functions and those knobs could easily be transferred over to any conventional mixer, and then I learned kind of the art of how to mix the tracks so that they lined up with one another. I already had a really good idea of that because I had listened to radio and different DJs for 2.5 years before that, so I already had a good idea of what the right sound should be. I just needed somebody to fine-tune all those skills, basically. I listen to the radio all the time, and I listen to different DJs, and it's cool and all, but actually getting to do it in front of an audience in a room where you've got, you know, everything, it just kind of brings out a whole new dimension of craziness to music that you don't get other places.
Will and I went to get food before one of his gigs. I drove him, helped him read the menu, as well as made sure he was tipping the waitress with a $10 bill and not a $50. Other than the small things, dinner was just dinner, no different from anybody else. After I saw Will get the crowd ready to party, I could see exactly where he wanted to be, right here, having the time of his life. Going back on how people see the beauty of life differently, one of Will's greatest joys is to be in control of the music. Feeling the energy in the room, hearing people sing the lyrics to his songs, being able to hear Will the DJ and not Will the blind DJ is really all anyone in his shoes would want. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but for Josh and Will, beauty is in the mind of the beholder.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included, and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Volleyball has been a part of SFA community for many years now, from club, intramural, and team. The first time ever, SFA is now introducing beach volleyball. I sat down with Coach Luna to discuss the recruiting process since the season doesn't start until 2020.
In a lot of connections with club coaches and leaning on a lot of relationships that you have, but it's also like getting people on campus and getting them to realize, hey, we got a lot of really good things going on here. This program is fully funded. We've got 4 brand new courts, nice lights out there. The staff and faculty were like really good about meeting with potential recruits, like meeting with the psychology department, kinesiology department, communications, education. So it was a little bit like I was unsure of how we were going to be able to recruit well in year 1. And I've been really surprised. We've been able to get really good players this year not because of me, because of everything this school offers. Like the academics, the athletic department, the community, people just walking around and saying what's up to people, talking to them, showing them around. That is like the strongest tool I have as a recruiter, is getting people here and letting them see like that it's a really great community here, and like you can really get a lot of bang for your buck essentially in terms of coming out here. So more successful than I thought, to be honest, in terms of how the recruiting has been. It's always tough in the first year because you're brand new, and most people are recruiting 2-3 years down the road already, and so we had to recruit like 3 years at once, 3 classes at once. So that was hard to juggle, but yeah, we've gotten some good players actually.
With beach volleyball being a new sport to SFA, that leaves the question, how do you market a sport the school has never had?
Yeah, so beach volleyball is a lot like a party atmosphere, and so you're allowed to play music kind of throughout the entire set, and then you're allowed to kind of grill. You can do like grill outs, cookouts, stuff like that. So we're planning on doing a lot of stuff like that, inviting a bunch of students out, making it a big party really. And so to kind of teach some people what beach volleyball is and kind of how it works, we're planning on having a Beach Volleyball 101 event, like to teach students, faculty, whoever, staff, how the scoring works, how they can keep up any kind of cheers we want to do and stuff like that. So that'll be coming up a little closer to the season. We don't have a set date for that yet, but when we do, we'll obviously get that out on social media in the local papers and all that. So.
SFA is known for their many sports, such as basketball, football, and even bowling, just to name a few. But some believe beach volleyball is the sport that can introduce SFA to a whole new world.
Well, indoor is a lot more well-known compared to beach. Beach you usually just see at the Olympic level for most people, especially in Texas. There isn't a lot of beach volleyball out here in Texas. So for one thing, just having the sport at this school in general brings us into other worlds that we're not usually a part of. Like some bigger schools have beach volleyball, and that kind of gives us a leg up in their world, and it connects Texas to other parts of the country that we aren't very connected, or not, at least from what I've seen. I didn't know Stephen F. Austin existed prior to getting recruited. No offense to Eastern Texas. I love it here, don't get me wrong. But I didn't know. I'm from California. But everyone I knew from Texas knew about Stephen F. Austin. So getting a beach volleyball team and having such a good standing within our conference and stuff, when we can eventually have a bid to nationals, will allow us to get more awareness outside of Texas as well.
Now, one may ask themselves, What's so different about beach volleyball from indoor? Well, for starters, beach volleyball is played in pairs, while indoor they play with 6. Music, food, weather, beach volleyball is here to give you that laid-back type feel.
You've been to an indoor game. It's like there's all this energy that surrounds one court, and it's super intense, and it's point by point, and it's like bang bang, it's a fast, hard game. Beach is not like that. Beach is kind of spread out. It's a little bit slower pace. It's like indoor is like checkers, beach is like chess. So you come out there and you kind of got to watch a few points to kind of figure out the gamesmanship going on. You can walk around, you can change courts, you can watch a different court, you can just hang out in the sun, listen to the music. You can, you know, go to the food truck and get some food. So we're kind of going to lean the other way of that like singular intensity and kind of go with like, hey, come out, have some fun, kick back, you know, and you know, there will be some good competition if you want to be engaged in the match, and if you don't, then it's just a good little spot for you to post up and get some sun, some food, and some music, you know, on a weekend.
For East Texas Explorer, I'm Kevin Coleman.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Okay.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's split a ride home.
This year's SFA School of Theater is putting on Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus. The show will be presented at 7:30 p.m. November 12th through 16th at the W.M. Turner Auditorium on the SFA campus. Director and department head Dr. Cleo House said he thinks the audience will really like it. They've incorporated a twist to the original play with the hopes of making it more relatable to the world today.
Well, Shakespeare's plays are, set in a particular time, and so, but yet the way he's written his plays, I feel like they could be set anywhere. And so we set our play in the future, the year 2100. The U.S. is represented by the Romans. The Russia is represented by the Goths. We've been having a lot of stuff going on with USA and Russia, and so we're saying that the 10-year war between the Russians and the Goths is the war between America and the Russians, and so the place takes place in D.C., and so it's like the aftermath of the war on American soil in D.C. and what the world might be like. It's kind of like the Hunger Games, I would say.
The plot twist of the play is hoped to be enjoyable for the audience. However, if the audience doesn't totally get the concept, the department is okay with them just knowing that something is going on.
I think they're going to find it to be very interesting, possibly even more agreeable for them to be able to watch it. Because I know for myself it's hard to sit down and watch something that's set in ancient Rome a long, long time ago when I don't recognize things. But we're going to have graffiti, we're going to have set, we're going to have things that you're going to see if you were in present-day Washington, D.C. And so that's going to give them a connection that they probably wouldn't pick up on had they seen the original show.
I feel like everyone knows what Shakespeare provides, and everyone understands how a Shakespeare play goes. So I feel like it's refreshing for someone to come in here and see something different.
The department has been preparing for the show since early in the semester, and some students have gotten the opportunity to have lead roles in their very first semester here at SFA.
My first semester here, and it never happens that like your first semester you instantly get into a main stage. So that I was elated. So was everyone I know. We were told beforehand on August 26th to come prepared with a 2-minute Shakespeare monologue, not from Titus Andronicus. And all we did was, you have it prepared, you go in, you fill out your forms on like your height, your weight, you perform, they get back to you later. We had a fight call back where they demonstrated some of the use of how we use weapons in the show to see how we were naturally on whether or not they wanted to use us for that.
It really boils down to a lot of research and just a lot of time spent in rehearsals. We have to spend time with each other here, figuring it out together. No one person can figure it out for themselves. And so that's what we're doing here ever since the beginning of September. Really, the first week that we started, we've been at it nearly every day, working.
Students say the department has made a huge impact on their college experience and is preparing them for a professional career in the industry.
Being able to get on a stage and trick people into thinking that you're someone else, I know it sounds kind of mischievous, but it's so much fun. Being up on stage and lifting that veil of people thinking that this is a story and getting them to, and me being up there and pulling out what I want them to. Like, oh, this is a tragedy. Now you're sad. It's comedy. Come on, laugh. It's fun. I like giving people that catharsis.
It's just been a lot of fun. We're really like a close-knit family, and it's there's never a dull moment. We're always working on something. There's 22 shows within the department this semester alone, so it's a lot of fun.
Like they're giving us a great insight into what the professional world looks like, and that we rehearse a lot and they take things very seriously. We do have time to laugh and play, but we know when it boils down to it, it's time to work.
As the semester comes to an end, the department has been preparing for new changes within their facility. During the summer, they will be moving out of the building due to new renovations. It will be expanded to include dance, film, music, 2 new theaters, and more. The department believes it will be the new face of SFA.
So if you can imagine driving along North Street now and these big tall windows, 3-story building that you can see into and see people dancing and rehearsing plays and things like that. It's going to be a interesting 2 years, but it'll be worth it.
For East Texas Explorer, I'm Alexis Thames.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go? This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope.
I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Located 20 minutes from Lufkin is a farm tucked away behind a patch of woods known as Moore Angus. This farm is filled with history and deep family bonds.
I bought a farm in 1956 right outside of Lufkin. About a year later, my grandfather, Lloyd Moore, purchased some Hereford cows, and he messed with those up until about 1964, which was right around the time when my dad graduated from college. And in 1964, he got rid of the Herefords, and him and my dad got in partnership with, my dad's name's Raymond Moore. They got in partnership with it and bought 30 Angus cows and 1 bull.
Though the farm has been around for over 6 decades now, it still consists of Angus cattle. The family sells high-quality seed stock bulls with a focus on genetics. These bulls are sold through private treaty sales and the annual Red River Bull Sale located in Coshada, Louisiana. Everyone in the family has a helping hand when it comes to managing the farm, while continuing Raymond Moore's legacy.
He's been in the cattle business a lot longer than I have. His father, Raymond, got us into the business, and Raymond passed away in 2012, and before he passed away, he gave me 4 heifers, and I made a deal with him that I'd help my cousin on the farm in exchange for 4 free heifers. So the heifers that he gave me has kind of grown into a 10 or 20 herd cattle operation. It's changed my life pretty significantly in having to be out there every day dealing with cattle, which I was kind of already doing anyway, but now it's pretty much you got to be there all the time, checking on cows. And then my cousin and I have also continued a bull breeding program.
Since the beginning, Raymond Moore had 2 goals, one being to raise Angus cattle and the second to make friendships in the business. Within a 22-year period, Raymond and friends sold over $6 million in Angus cattle. Amongst the years of selling thousands of cattle, Raymond served as president of the Texas Angus Association and was then put into the Texas Angus Association Hall of Fame. With so much history ingrained into the farm, some family members believe it is their duty to keep the legacy going.
Probably for me, the biggest, the biggest weight on my shoulders, because his sake and for the legacy of what he passed on to me, is probably the biggest thing that pushes me to continue and keep it going, because I know he wanted to keep it going, and just for his sake, I'd like to see it continue on, even beyond me and maybe to my kids. So,
keeping the Moore Angus name just a good name that's been around, and all of but we just sell nothing but good bulls. If it's not a good bull, we're gonna get rid of it.
While carrying on the history at Moore Angus, the family grows closer together. Members of the family who did not have agricultural ties before now have a hand in the process.
We started dating, and I had never been around cows, so it was all brand new to me. And I just kind of took to it and really enjoyed being out there, and the kids like it too. So it's just, I think, made us closer. I would say it's something we do together.
Most family businesses over generations don't last longer than 2 or 3 generations because family members can't get along. And our family business, I think we're in our 5th generation. So as far as working on the farm with my cousin, he and I, are pretty good business partners. We get along pretty well.
I always enjoyed just being out at the place, and just doing things out there. It's always just fun to me. My wife enjoys it. My oldest daughter, she showed cattle growing up, and hopefully our youngest son will show. You know, he's too young, we don't know yet. We'll see.
With a family like this, there is no doubt the legacy of Moore Angus will continue. For East Texas Explorer, I'm Karis Phelps.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Hi, I'm Megan Riley.
And I'm Daniel Morales, and welcome to another episode of Jack Talk.
On this show, we are taking a look at Sculpture for All, a biannual national outdoor art exhibit and competition that takes place here in the garden capital of Texas.
Then we will discuss the Ellen Trout Zoo and its annual Earth Day celebration.
And from there, the zoo director at the Ellen Trout Zoo will join us live in the studio along with a special surprise. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss this episode of Jack Talk. Nacogdoches not only is the oldest town in Texas, but is also the garden capital of Texas. Joining me in the studio is SFA sculpture professor Jeffy Brewer to talk about the biennial Sculpture for All event and competition that occurred right here in the SFA Gardens. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I actually went to the event, and it was beyond fascinating. There were so many unique sculptures. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the event?
All right, Sculpture for All is a biennial event. We do it every 2 years. This is the fourth iteration of it. The first year was 1 year, then we did a 2-year and another 2-year, and this will be 2 years. We bring artists from all over the United States. We send out a call for artists to apply, and if they apply, then we pick the top 10, and the 10 come in, and we show them here.
What's the overall mission and purpose of Sculpture for All?
You know, I, for the longest time, made artwork that was meant for a gallery. And one time I made a piece that was for outdoors, and I saw the reaction that people had for this. It's like, you know, you don't have to go into a gallery to see it. Public art, it's there, right? So the mission of this is to bring people into the arts, into the fold of the arts, into viewing art that they necessarily wouldn't see otherwise.
Does it have a effect on the SFA students?
Absolutely, 100%. I give about probably 20 or 30 tours a year to SFA 101 students, to just random people that call me up and want to see the artwork. I give it to my classes. Anybody that wants a tour of Sculpture for All, I'm happy to give it.
And it's open to the public?
It's absolutely open to the public, free, no charge. Just go check it out.
So since it happens every 2 years, how do y'all prepare for a plan for the event?
You know, it kind of happens it just happens. We like I said, we send out the call. People will apply, and then we have to go get the juror involved, and then the juror picks the top ones, and then we call the artists who won, and they bring them from all over the place. We give them a small stipend of money, $1,000, and then that takes care of shipping or driving or gas or whatever. They bring them here. I help them install. I work closely with the gardens with Dawn Stover. We pour pads. We have to arrange the plants so they don't look silly, and then we install them. Boom.
Because people from all over come to the event and participate, how exactly how did they become aware of the gardens and the event?
Well, we put a call for entries out to it's a site called Cafe, and it's most artists that are aware of outdoor sort of things, they apply to this specific thing through Cafe. Call for artist entries is what it's called. And then we have roughly around 100 people that will generally apply to this specific thing. And there's not a lot of people that do public art, so we have to hope for the best. And like I said, once we get those 100, we narrow it down to the top 10 or 15, and then we go from there.
So let's dig deeper into the judging part of the competition. So I went to the event and I was watching you do the tours. Was that when the judging was taking place?
No, the first part of judging is with the artist. I'm sorry, we pick an artist to do the jurying. This year it was Robbie Barber. He's the professor of sculpture at Baylor University, and he will run through those 100 pieces and pick out his top, few, and then he'll narrow it down to the 10, and then we'll
know that you guys had a recycling bin set up outside.
Right. We had we offered half-price admission to people who brought basically a trash can full of recyclable items and deposited them in the recycling container that we had there. The city of Lufkin brought that container out for us to use, and they actually participated in the event.
Yeah, and so how long has the city of Lufkin participated with you guys in Earth Day celebration?
Almost as long as we've had a recycling department, and the city, they work with us very well on everything that we do.
And how much did you collect this year from that recycling bin?
Well, I don't know the exact volume, but we collected a lot, and we had a lot of people take advantage of that half-price admission.
That's good. And so is there like a set like goal that you guys have each year for that, or is it just like whatever you guys
We really try to encourage as much as we can, and we haven't established a goal for a certain amount. We want to take, we bring out that very large container so we can take a lot of recyclables.
And so some of the other booths I saw, like there was definitely a lot of plants. The Texas Master Gardeners were there too.
Right.
What can you tell me about them?
Well, we invite everybody that we can that has a role or a concern for environment. And Master Gardeners, they promote a lot of native plant propagations, and I believe they were giving away long leaf pine seedlings to as long as they lasted.
I think I saw some of those too, the longleaf pine trees that were out. I think another thing that I saw too was this vegetable guide that I saw here too about different planting ones as well. I thought that was pretty cool because there's a whole lot of ones right here. Like there's lima beans, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, different ones. So I thought that was really cool. And is it always the same booths that come back, or is it just like, does it switch out?
Well,
every year?
we get a lot of repeats, and then there are some that come out for the first time. We're looking for people that want to share their activities with our audience and participate. So it varies sometimes.
And how many booths on average do you have each year?
Well, we have it, and that varies too. We have sometimes we'll have 8 or 10, maybe 15, and we set them up all over the zoo so people go around wherever they visit. They have an opportunity to encounter one of these booths and visit with our vendors there.
And what's the most booths that the zoo has had?
The most that we've had?
Yeah.
Probably 15 or so, 20
15 or
maybe.
so? And how many did you guys have this year?
We had 10.
10? Okay. Yeah, and another one that I saw that caught my mind was the Texas Black Bear Alliance one.
Right.
I thought that one was fascinating because I didn't know that we had black bears here in East Texas.
Well, right now they're scarce in East Texas if they're here at all. This area of Texas used to be habitat for the bear years ago, and they have become extirpated here just because of the growth and development that we have. But they are coming back into the northeastern part of Texas, and so the Black Bear Alliance is interested in making sure people are just aware of bears and being able to mitigate any bear-human conflicts that might occur and prepare things for if they do come back.
Yeah, I saw, because one thing I found out about these black bears is that they're actually not all that big. In fact, they're not much bigger than wild hogs, and it seems like that a lot of hunters could easily mistake that for a wild hog.
And there's been a lot of bear sightings that it ended up being hogs when we went out, or the Parks and Wildlife has people that investigate bear sightings, and when they went out to look at some of that stuff, they find out it's hogs.
And like you said, the bear is scarce, and like it hasn't been seen in Nacogdoches County, but it did seem that like there were some sightings like all in just like other counties around East Texas.
There have been some. I think there was one in southern Angelina County, and it's been isolated, and they believe that was a lone male bear that was out looking for a mate, and that it returned back into Louisiana when it didn't find one.
Do you feel optimistic that the black bear can make a return back to East Texas?
I'm hopeful. I don't really know. They haven't been here all the time that I've lived here, but it would be nice to know that they are here.
Yeah, because when people think of bears, they think of the big grizzly bears, but again, these bears aren't all that big at all.
Well, they're not. Well, they get to 200 or 300 pounds, and they're primarily vegetarians. They eat berries and things like that. They're not the carnivores that the big grizzly bears are.
Yeah. And how can people volunteer or help out for Earth Day?
We'll send out a call in February and March, and they can watch out for that, and then get a hold of Whitney Heckler, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us about Earth Day celebration today.
You bet.
When we come back, Megan is going to join Gordon and I in the studio for a hands-on experience with one of the zoo's very own caimans. You definitely won't want to miss this.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.